Greetings, everybody. We're on the weekly chart of Nasdaq 100, and the last time we spoke about this particular chart, we had mentioned that we had this very nice W structure, which had more or less a neckline at that point, and we saw price breaking to the upside of that neckline and then coming back to that zone to test it. And I said to you guys that at that point, where the neckline is where we should have looked for potential buying opportunities, as the anticipation is for the market to push further up to around this level, which is more or less where this very nice W structure actually started. Can you guys see that, right? Anyway, let's zoom in and see what else is happening in regards to this particular chart, which is the weekly chart of Nasdaq 100. Another thing that is also very much important is that we have this level over here. It is also a very nice or a very strong level of support, guys, and what we may potentially see is the market potentially coming back again to this level to test it, and at this level we might then see price actually move further up to around this level, right? Anyway, from here what I'm gonna do, guys, is head down to the daily chart. However, before I do so, I just want to mark this level over here because it's a very strong level of support at this point in time, and we might potentially see price come back to that area to test it, and at that point we might again look for those potential buying opportunities. Remember also, guys, that I had mentioned that we have this candlestick over here, right? It is a bullish candlestick with a small body and quite a long upper wick, and I said to you guys that it is carrying a lot of liquidity at that point, and that liquidity is actually money that needs to be triggered by the market at one point or another. So we might potentially see price move all the way to this level long term to grab all of that liquidity at that point. Let me just actually mark that level because it's also very much important. Let's have a look. Here we go. From here, let's head down to the daily chart, and here we are on the daily chart. And remember, guys, we spoke about on the weekly chart how we have that W structure at the bottom. Let me just redraw it, guys. We spoke about how we have this W structure with a neckline at that point. We saw price coming back to the neckline to test it, and at this point is where I said we should have looked for those potential buying opportunities, as the anticipation is for the market to push further up to around that level, right? Anyway, from here what I'm gonna do, guys, is just add my daily channel. Let's have a look. How would I add my daily channel in this regard? Let's have a look. I would add my daily channel in this manner. Just bear with me, everybody. More or less, this is how I would add my daily channel. Let's have a look. There we go, right? And let's zoom in, right? So remember, guys, as much as we have this huge W structure that we spoke about on the weekly chart, right? As much as we have this W structure, we also have a smaller W structure at this point, which also has a neckline at that level, more or less, right? And you guys know that whenever it comes to these W structures, ideally we want to see price break into that upside of that neckline and then coming back to the neckline to test it, and at this point is where we normally look for those prospective buying opportunities, right? Anyway, what else do we see, guys, in regards to the daily chart? At this point, really, I don't see much. We can see that the market, let me just actually zoom out a bit. Let's have a look. As I said, guys, we have this W structure which has a neckline at that point, and also another thing that is very much interesting is that we have these three candles pointing to the upside, or rather going to the upside, and I believe that a reversal or a retracement is imminent, and that is because, guys, after having this W structure, we saw price coming back to around this level, right, and pushing further up. So I anticipate or I expect price to actually move further down, to retrace a bit, and then we might potentially see price move further up. Anyway, I don't see much in regards to the daily chart. Let's head down to the H4 chart. On the H4 chart, I'm just going to fix my channel. There we go, more or less, and also add my H4 channel Just bear with me. There we go, guys. Remember, we spoke about how we have this smaller W structure on the daily chart, right? Which has a neckline at that point. As much as we have that W structure, can you guys also see that we have another W structure at this point, which also has a neckline at that level? And I told you guys that whenever it comes to these structures, ideally we'd love to see price breaking to the upside of that neckline and then coming back to that zone to test it. And at this point is where we normally look for those potential buying opportunities. So at this point in time, we can see that this neckline is yet to be tested, and we might potentially see price come back to the zone to test it, and at the zone is where we might potentially look for further buying opportunities. So remember, I said to you guys that there's plenty of scope for the market to actually move further up, because on the daily chart we have that candlestick that's carrying that liquidity. So that is it, guys. And as far as my analysis is concerned, at this point I don't see any potential buying or selling opportunities. However, as I said, guys, let me just actually add a neckline for that W structure. As I said, guys, we might potentially see price come back to around the zone over here, which is the neckline, as I said, of this W structure over here. Right, we might see price come back to this level. And another reason why I say we might potentially see a retracement is that as much as we have this W structure over here, can you guys also see that we have an opposing structure in the form of an M structure over here? Can you guys see that? Right, so it is quite possible that we may see price move further down to around this area, and at that area we might then see the market push further up, right? Having said that, I just also want to mention that at this point in time the markets are choppy, and I don't like the way in which they are moving, so we have to be cautious and practice good money management. And yeah, that's it as far as my analysis goes, and peace out, everybody.